What is up, everyone? If this is your first time hearing my voice or seeing my lovely face, my name is Jerome McRoy, and this is an art entertainment / social commentary channel. Please like, share, comment, pop that bubble, and subscribe, and let's just get into it. Before we even enter into this video, I just want to say spoilers. Okay? Okay. Before I even started the movie, I'm like, what the fuck am I about to watch? But, like, do you see that promotion poster? Do you see that promotion poster? It felt like someone was like holding on to you the entire movie, just like, and just looking at the poster, it's just long and uncomfortable. So there's a point in the movie, and it's kind of in the beginning. Amelia, which is the mother, and Samuel, which is the son, they have a moment where Samuel basically does a magic trick, and he pops out flowers to give to his mom. And she looks very happy about this. And he then goes in for a hug that probably lasted all but, 15 seconds? And then she says, don't do that. Like, I don't want your affection. And I was just thinking in my head, like, people might be uncomfortable by, like, receiving affection like that. Almost like if they were to accept this moment of affection, or to accept this amount of joy in this one moment, that the next coming seconds, something bad might happen. So I don't know. It was I think it was just very insightful when I was watching. As the movie goes on, we get a really good scene when the Babadook sneaks into Amelia's room, sliding into the darkness within the corner, and she puts the covers over her head like a child. And it just ends up creating a really deafening, scary atmosphere that's just really cool, honestly.
Now we gotta talk about
Samuel, which is Amelia's son. In the first 10 minutes of the movie, he puts a hole through the window with his slingshot, catapult, whatever you want to call it. Oh, and then on top of that, he brings a crossbow to school. I understand you want your kids to be creative, but not like this. Not like this. Not when it's a possibility that they could kill someone on accident. You know what I mean? And on top of that, they go to Amelia's sister's daughter's birthday. And her daughter's a little shit, don't get me wrong. They go up in her little treehouse or whatever, that's where Samuel's hiding out. And she says, I quote in context, "The reason why we don't go over your house is because it's depressing." I'm like, cool. It was already strike 2 at this point. And then strike 3, which is
would have got her ass beat,
is she said that he didn't deserve a dad, and that's why he died. Now, the dad has died. He died 7 years ago. But, that still doesn't change anything, especially when that's your parent. And, as young as Samuel is, it doesn't really register emotionally with him, but it still matters. And I think he still feels like he never really got to meet him.
Samuel did push her out of the treehouse
And broke her nose in 2 places. And I'm okay with that. So we'll just clap for him 2 times and we'll move on. Now we have to talk about lovely, lovely Amelia. Homegirl was stressed. Stress waking up. Stress walking around. Stressed anything.
If anything, she needed a therapist. Right, pronto.
Amelia constantly gets calls about Samuel having really bad behavior at the school, and at some point in the movie, she does go up there to talk to the principal and the vice principal, I'm assuming, and they basically want to put him in alternative classes, and she's like, well, don't call my son boy, he has a name. And I felt like I understood where Amelia was coming from, but at the same time, I also understood where the principal and the vice principal were coming from, because they're like, your kid can't be bringing weapons to the school. Like, that's how we get our funding. You can't be killing all of them. And Amelia is just like wigging out, and then at some point in the conversation, she's like, fuck it. I'm just going to take him to a different school. The principal's like, wait, when did we get to that point? She's like, no, since y'all want to talk shit, I'm taking my kid out of this dumbass school, and we're going to go to a different one. Mind you, he's out of school for like 2 weeks. Based in the movie. There's another point in the movie where she starts reading this book that Samuel grabs off the shelf. Now, obviously, a lot of parents can relate to kids having random books in the house that they just randomly read. So it's not abnormal for him to just grab a random book off the shelf and read it. You know what I mean? But he grabs this book called The Babadook, which
Babadook.
The Babadook. But yeah, red, black writing, right? She starts reading it, and at some point, Amelia's like, "Oh, this doesn't seem right. Whatever's in this book seems super creepy." She's like, "Hey, Samuel, do you want to read something else?" He's like, "You told me that I could choose tonight, so we're reading this book." So she ends up reading it. He ends up getting scared. He's crying. Trust me, his cry it just would have killed me. As a parent, it just would have killed me. And I probably would have busted his head after that.
Damn, I mean, it's big, but shit.
We also learn that Amelia misses intimacy, especially with her husband that she lost 7 years ago. And people in the movie keep telling her to get over it, but when a person doesn't understand that you lost the love of your life, it doesn't matter how much time has passed. Like, you lost them in a very tragic way. So, I don't know. She just feels like people don't understand her. You know, I gotta say, the Babadook is literally the best part of this movie. And they use him very sparingly. So, it always keeps you guessing about what it actually looks like. But it moves in this very creepy way. And there's a point in the movie where she's fighting with it directly after it hops out of her body. And she tells it that, you can't have my son. This is my house. Go away. And its body drops to the floor with its hat. She ends up touching the black hat and it raises up off of the floor and does this weird shout thing, looks at both her and the son, and then it goes down into the basement. And I just really like that scene because you still don't have a direct you still don't have direct vision about what it actually looks like, but you're seeing it from its own perspective of how it's like moving around. In the end, I think this movie was about depression and what it means to actually lose a loved one and how it affects everyone after it. Obviously, the evidence being Amelia and her son Samuel. After dealing with the Babadook, their relationship became better. Their fractures seemed to solidify again. And I would even say that they benefited from dealing with the Babadook, even though that's kind of a weird thing to say. But that's all I have for you today. Please check out the other things on my channel. Pop that bubble and subscribe. Like, share, comment, and I will check you all later.